The member for Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. The national plan to safely reopen our nation and live with COVID-19 is being realised through the actions of Australians like those in my Western Sydney community coming forward
Member
to
for
get
Barton
vaccinated.
is warned.
Will the Prime Minister update the House on how the national plan is ending restrictions and building our path out of the pandemic?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for Lindsay for her question. It's great to see her back in this chamber, as there are so many other members now back in this chamber, which is reflective of the fact that Australia is opening up. Mr Speaker, our national plan is working. The national plan that we began working together on with the Doherty Institute back in March, a plan that was agreed not once but twice by all premiers and chief ministers around the country as I brought that national plan forward, Mr Speaker. The plan that is based on the best scientific and medical research and analysis and advice available, Mr Speaker, that plan is working. That plan, Mr Speaker, which is to safely open and then remain safely open, Mr Speaker, that is a plan that we're now seeing realised right across the country, a plan that set out clear vaccination targets, scientifically determined, to know that when Australians pass those targets, Mr Speaker, they could be confident that we could open safely and remain safely open, Mr Speaker. Australians have responded to this
Member for
plan.
Greenway.
Australians have rolled up their sleeves. Australians are keeping their part of the deal that has come together as part of the national plan. 69.2% of Australians aged over 16 today, Mr Speaker, have been double vaccinated. As a share of total population, Australia's double vaccination rate is now higher than the United States. It is higher than the United States on double-dose vaccinations. And in the member's own electorate, Mr Speaker, in the LGA of Penrith, 84% of those in Penrith, Mr Speaker, are double-dose vaccinated. And, Mr Speaker, I hasten to add that in the Sutherland Shire that figure's 89%, Mr Speaker. So thank you to all those in the Sutherland Shire in southern Sydney. Mr Speaker, the vaccination rates are surging in New South Wales above 90%. Above 90% on their first dose rates. New South Wales is opening. Australians are coming home. 52,300 downloads of their international vaccination certificates over the last 24 hours. Mr Speaker, Victoria is opening up. And I note in particular Victoria's roadmap, just announced. Victoria's roadmap, delivering the national plan, Mr Speaker, from the Victorian State Government. I welcome that, Mr Speaker. Queensland is opening up, Mr Speaker. The Queensland borders will be coming down, Mr Speaker. We welcome that as Queensland honours the national plan. ACT is finally opening up, Mr Speaker, as well as South Australia, Northern Territory and Tasmania. I spoke to the Tasmanian and South Australian premiers this morning, confirming, Mr Speaker, their commitments. Mr Speaker, as a country, one of the lowest fatality rates in the world when it comes to COVID, one of the strongest economic stories and recoveries during the COVID pandemic. And, Mr Speaker, we're on the track now to ensure we have one of the world's highest vaccination rates.